Hola bafethu, it is your big homie Palo. Arbuinga business Spani bafethu. Today we're going to be talking about procrastination in the workplace. So, what is procrastination firstly? Procrastination is the act of delaying or postponing important tasks and substituting them for less important tasks or, relaxation. Like, no, you know what, I'll just do this later. So, the problem with procrastination in the workplace is that it affects or sabotages productivity in many ways. So it's not going to be a deep dive, but we're just going to talk about procrastination and how to combat it. And yeah, it's just going to be just a high level discussion on procrastination and what you can do as an individual to lessen the amount of times and the length of your procrastination. So there are a lot of things that cause people to procrastinate, and to name a few, some people might procrastinate for fear of actually failing after they complete their task. For some people, it's lack of motivation. For some people, it's straight up laziness. Some people just don't want to work and they'll just come with any excuse. Another reason would be, poor time management skills. Sometimes it's work overload where you have so much that you don't know what to do. You'd rather just sit to the side and not actually do anything, thinking that you might just have time later, or you might have your deadlines extended and so on, right? So obviously, in combating procrastination, the very first thing to do would be to understand why you as a person are procrastinating, and look into that and try to start working on avoiding doing that, or avoiding being in a position that's going to make you want to procrastinate. So another thing about procrastination is that it causes a cycle. So if you have a task to do, you'll come up with something else that you want to do, and you then go and tackle that, and then suddenly that is becoming one of your priorities, and then you jump from that, you get onto another thing. So it then turns into a cycle where you're doing so much and you're not really finishing your tasks. All right, so that's where the cycle of procrastination comes in, and as a person, we're supposed to avoid that. You're supposed to also identify when that is happening and try to find ways to combat it and avoid being in that position where you are in a cycle of procrastination. So what impact does procrastination have in the workplace? So the main issue with procrastination is that it delays productivity, and it also drops the quality of a person's productivity, because if you have 10 days to finish a task and you decided to do it in the last 2 days, it might happen that something along the line had to be worked on for like 4 days, and you only have 2 days to actually complete your project. So it's not going to be of good quality, and obviously that means that you were not being fully productive, and your project might not come out as expected, or you might not deliver. Sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes you might actually not deliver at all. You get what I mean? So there's a huge impact of procrastination in the workplace, in that sense, where productivity gets affected very negatively. Another thing is your work relationship with your colleagues. It can also mess that up, because if you are working with people and you have a task to do with a deadline, your deadline, or you missing your deadline, might affect their deadline also, because sometimes they are dependent on you, and if you don't finish your stuff, someone who's downstream might not be able to finish their stuff. Now the entire group has a problem with you, or you are an issue due to your procrastination, whereas you could have finished your work on time and given it to the next person. It's just like a baton when it comes to a relay in sports, where if I have a baton and I'm supposed to give it to the next person and I give them late, we're gonna lose the race. You get what I mean? So that's what procrastination basically does. That's I think that's a perfect analogy where if you procrastinate, then the next person might not have enough time, or they might not actually get what they need from you. You get what I mean? So the whole procrastination thing can affect your work relationship in that way. And ultimately, if your performance is affected, then it affects a lot of other things, such as you getting a promotion or your career actually advancing from where it is. Because if you keep procrastinating, you won't have, like, you're basically trying to catch up. You're always trying to catch up. So how are you going to move forward and improve your skills if all you're doing is catching up? You get what I mean? So the main thing is to avoid procrastination, because it has a snowball effect where your productivity might then start affecting other things such as your career advancement. You get what I mean? So yeah, avoid that. So in terms of combating, as I said, the very first thing that you should do is identify how you are procrastinating as a person, right? So the main thing is to identify how you are procrastinating. So for one person, it might be that they cannot focus on two things at the same time, and they'll then avoid or miss deadlines for their main task. All right, very first thing to do is to break down your tasks. So if, like I said, you have 10 days to work on a project, so say it's an actual report that you have to do on a certain subject, you would break down your report. Let's say the first 8 days are going to be preparation, and then day 9 will be you practicing, because over time, while you are preparing and putting together your information, you are going to be actually practicing subconsciously and understanding what you're doing. And then you'll say on day 9, that's when you start only practicing. You get what I mean? So break down your tasks and know that, okay, day 1 to day 3 I'll be doing this topic. Let's say you only have 3 topics. Day 1 to day 2 or 3 I'll be doing topic 1, and then day 3 or 4 I'll be doing topic 2, and then the rest of the days I'll be doing topic 3, and then just before I'm supposed to present, I'll then start practicing. So you break down your tasks in a manageable fashion, so that so what you then do is you break down your tasks in a manageable fashion so that you don't overwhelm yourself, and also you don't work too slow that you're gonna miss the deadline. So break your tasks into manageable chunks so that it assists you with understanding what you're doing, and it also gives you a flow of work up until the day you are supposed to present or submit your task. All right, so set realistic deadlines. It's so easy for you to be given a task and then agree that you're going to finish it on a certain day. It's easy to agree because you think, oh no, it's 10 days later, doesn't matter, I'll do it over the no. Set realistic deadlines. When you are given a task, think about how long it usually takes you. Think about your skill level. Be honest with yourself, and be honest with everyone that, you know what, I won't be able to finish it at this time. Or if you need time to actually look at everything and give feedback on when you will be able to finish it, that's also fine. You get what I mean? But what you need to do is set realistic deadlines for yourself and for the people that you are working with, so that you don't miss those deadlines, whereas you could have avoided such problems by telling everyone, guys, I might need an additional 3 days. You get what I mean? So if you then have those additional 3 days, you have time to work on your project easily and efficiently, knowing how to break it down so that you don't miss the deadline. Because here's another thing. If you're gonna set a deadline and you don't have enough time, then it's gonna cause a rift between you and your team members, because you've already promised people, whether it's in writing or verbally, that you're gonna finish your task at a certain time. But if you don't finish it at that certain time, then it means that you are now not being truthful. You get what I mean? Which is also another thing that has to do with integrity. So yeah, you need to think about that. Another way to tackle procrastination is to create a work environment that is positive, right? Whether you're working from home or you're working from the office, you create an environment that is friendly, you create an environment that is efficient. You also create an environment that is organized. So if you have an organized environment, then it's easy for you to get what you need quickly and efficiently. You make sure that your workspace is not cluttered. When you want to find something, you know exactly where to find it without wasting time, because small things such as not finding something that you're working on, or a tool or whatever that you need, a tool or stationery or whatever, then it can cause you to want to procrastinate, because obviously you know you've been procrastinating, and it's what you usually do when you are working. Then it's easy for a small thing to make you decide that, hey, let me work later because I can't find this thing. So ensure that your work environment is organized, and you find your things quick, and you know, that way you can work much quicker and you can finish your work much quicker. I mean, at the end of the day, for you to be productive, it means that you have delivered. Oh, you also create an environment where you will not be disturbed, especially when you are working on you know, important tasks. So something as easy as something as small or something as insignificant as opening your YouTube can, you know, make you start procrastinating, and, you know, decide that, hey, I'll work a bit later, I'll do this task a bit later, let me just watch 3-4 videos and I'll get back to my work. Already that can cause you to be on YouTube, and then while you're on YouTube you find something that references something that's on TikTok, and then you jump onto TikTok. Suddenly you're not working. You get what I mean? So you need to ensure that you don't you know, have distractions near you, because that's what causes a lot of people to actually procrastinate. So avoid having this. Just like if you are on a diet. If you're on a diet, you don't keep chips and ice cream in the fridge, because eventually if you are hungry and it's 2 a.m, what are you going to do? You're just going to grab those, and, you know, your entire week, or rather few days of dieting can be wasted just by you not just by you having that distraction, or rather you having that food nearby to distract you from your diet. You get what I mean? So it's important to avoid distractions by all means. So another way to combat procrastination is by ensuring that you are accountable for your work. All right. Why do I say this? If you hold yourself accountable, you won't run into situations where you are looking for someone's help in such a way that you have to be fully dependent on them, right? So I know that sometimes you are dependent on the next person, but where possible, try to be accountable and ensure that you do what you need to do if you can. Like, for example, if you need to complete tasks in order 1, 2, and 3, right? And you finish task 1, task 2 requires someone, right? And then you are able to do task 3 by your own. If you can, jump over to task 3, finish it while you are waiting for feedback or waiting for someone to do what they need to do for task 2. All right. So by being accountable and by ensuring that you hold yourself accountable, you make sure that whatever you need to do is done, so that whatever that comes from the next person is supplementary to what you've done or what you're currently doing. All right, so don't be fully dependent on that. So hold yourself accountable and ensure that you push what you need to push. Otherwise, you know, there are going to be delays that are going to make you procrastinate, and then boom, the project is not done, or the project is you know, finished after the deadline. You know what I mean? Or now you're going to need to request additional time, whereas you could have done what you need to do. According to research, procrastination can also be something that you can combat through professional help. All right, so obviously it's not the first thing that you should do. Like, if you know that you are a chronic procrastinator, don't run to a therapist thinking that things are gonna just work out. They might work out, it might take time, but try to do it yourself first. Try to be accountable for your work. Try to ensure that your workspace's environment, or rather your workspace or environment is positive and it's efficient. And after you've tried to combat procrastination and you couldn't with the help of yourself, then that's when you go and seek professional help. All right, so don't just rush off and go and get professional help before trying out and seeing that you can actually combat this issue by yourself. Try to push, try to work, try to change your attitude, because at the end of the day, it's all about attitude and how you see it. All right, so that's what research says. They basically it's a matter of heading out and getting professional help if nothing is working. So here's my personal take on procrastination and how I've experienced it and how I've combated it where I can. Mostly when it comes to procrastination, I've noticed that it's a matter of being too comfortable. It's so nice, it's so easy to relax. I mean, at the end of the day, the things that we work for, like literally people are working so that they can grow old and retire. That's relaxation. We work to go on vacation after a whole year's work, for example, and you just want to relax, take it easy, be comfortable. So we are wired to pushing for comfort, right? And when we do that in the workplace, we are actually putting ourselves into a procrastination loop where it's hard to get out because it becomes a habit. Relaxation becomes a habit. Just like anything, if something is too nice, then you tend to overindulge. So that happens with like being too comfortable. If you're too comfortable, then you decide to overindulge, and then it becomes a loop where now you can't move forward, or you can't really work better or more efficiently. All right, so that comfort is what is killing us, and tries to make us procrastinate. So if you see where your comfort, it's nice to be comfortable, I understand, but you need to ensure that you are comfortable after working. So there's a saying that goes, work like a slave today and live like a king tomorrow, or live like a king today and work like a slave tomorrow. You see, at face value, it sounds like a quote that is meant for long-term goals, but actually it can apply to short-term goals, and it can apply to short-term goals, and in a way that whenever you have to do something, right, think of it like, okay, I'm supposed to work on this thing right now, right? But if I'm gonna relax, right, I'm gonna be living like a king, right? But later on, I'm gonna work like a slave. Okay, so what you then need to do is now think that, okay, if I work like a slave right now, I'm gonna live like a king tomorrow, which means later on you're just gonna relax after your work is done, you see. So this is how I usually tackle procrastination. I just make sure that I have to force my mind that either you suffer now or suffer later, but it's always better to suffer now. You get what I mean? And when it comes to work, it helps you avoid any unknown problems that might happen down the line. For example, you didn't know about something that could fail, right? And if you work right now, you'll have enough time to tackle that issue that arose that you never knew might come to the forefront. All right, so now suddenly you have to so now imagine you having to do that later. So it's like you've already relaxed, your time for relaxation is over. So now you have to now work, and you run into problems that you weren't expecting, and suddenly boom, you are in a situation where you facing a tight deadline, and now you have to tell your teammates, guys, I don't think I'll complete on time. I don't think I'll complete this task on time. Whereas you could have started this work much earlier. You get what I mean? So think of the future first. So always think of the next few steps before you procrastinate. You'll know it when it happens. Like literally, I believe we all do know when it happens, when that thing hits that it's time to procrastinate. No, when it hits, you just have to tell yourself, hey, no, hey, this is actually wrong. This is me trying to overindulge in relaxation, or overindulge in me having fun, playing games, taking a walk in the park. You literally give yourself any excuse to not finish what you're supposed to do when it comes to procrastination. And you need to identify that and tackle it immediately. It's something that you need to tackle with vigor immediately. You don't have to think about it. No, just tackle what you need to tackle and get it going. You get what I mean? That way you get to learn things faster, you get to finish your work quicker, you get to become a much more efficient person with everything that you do. All right, so anyway, that's my personal take on procrastination and how I combat it. Think of it as living like a slave today, and working like a slave today, and living like a king tomorrow. All right, so like I always say, guys, knowledge is a powerful weapon. Arm yourself. Thanks for watching.